moment, but who can handle it over the course of the 7 laps here? We'll wait and find out. Semi-final number 2, set to get underway in round 2 of the ESL R1 full season. We're underway at Spa, and it's Sebastian Job and Josh Rogers who have got the drag race from the line. Job with the inside line in towards La Source will hold the lead, with Josh Rogers staying in second place. It's side by side further back between Luke Bennett and one of the R8Gs as well. Don't know whether that's Yuri Toman or Thibaut Casabon. Should be Toman who holds on to third. It's another clean start at the second semi-final.
Yeah, we'll see if that continues all the way up the hill. It certainly looks so as they cut over the top at Radion and begin their run down towards Lake Com. Slipstream incoming. Here comes Joshua Rogers trying to pass his old rival that they've battled so many times over the last 5 years. Onto the scene comes Yuri Toman as well. Joshua Rogers heads up to the race lead. Yuri Toman's knocking at the door, Ewan.
He is indeed, side by side, a little bit further back as Enzo Benito looks to hold on from Nikodem Wisniewski, who's trying to get through from that 7th place inside the top half. But Josh Rogers is now in the lead by the looks of things, ahead of Sebastian Job. There's Johan Hart, bulldozing his way down the inside of Kaiki Oliveira into Rivage, not quite finding his way through for the moment. He's on the outside for No Name.
That was maybe a little bit too aggressive there from Johan Hart. That could pull them off the rear end of this train. Ibrahim Khan sat behind this, and he'll be ready to pounce on any mistake that these two make. Kaiki Oliveira squeezing Johan Hart as well. The pair of these very, very elbows out. Johan Hart having to deal with staying in 9th position. That was bold and aggressive from the pair of them. In my opinion, they're both dishing out as hard as they can give it, but that was maybe a little bit too much from Hart, in a bit too deep going into Fania, and almost overcooking it into the rear end of Kaiki Oliveira.
Yeah, got very close there to a bit of a problem for Hart and also Oliveira as well, who were very close together during the latter portion of that lap. We're coming towards the end of lap 1 then, and Josh Rogers is in the lead. Ahead of Sebastian Job, then it's Yuri Toman, Luke Bennett, Thibaut Casabon and Enzo Benito, the top 6. Nikodem Wisniewski is trying to find his way in there in the Williams Mercedes. A bit further back, those battles are meaning that the bottom 5 or so are quite far away from progressing into the final, but it will all close up in towards the final chicane, and as they complete the lap, there'll be nerves here towards the end of the top 6. Enzo Benito is going to have to do a lot of defending throughout the next 6 laps.
Yeah, it's going to be a tall order to hang on for anyone sort of near that cusp. It's such a raceable circuit, this one. Red line looking to get 2 drivers through into the final, Bennett and Benito. Bennett, I would say at the moment, in a pretty strong position. Knowing that BMW goes off a little bit tyres-wise, I would be concerned if I was Enzo Benito. Nikodem Wisniewski as well, we ready to pounce. He used a lot of the top of Radion. I think he's carried just about enough speed over the top. Thibaut Casabon also looking to move through into the final for the first time. I think he was the only driver from RG not to move through into the final last round at Monza, as Yuri Toman's looking to attack Sebastian Job.
He is. Not many points on the line there, of course. 4 more for Yuri Toman if he gets through, but I think it's a little bit early for battling for positions there. Generally, the top 6 do like to wait a little bit in these semi-finals and knockout rounds, just so that they are absolutely sure that they're in the top 6, and then they can start squabbling over the places. The problem last year, or last season, as you alluded to earlier on, is that they just wouldn't fight in these positions last season. There was almost no point looking at them. We'd constantly be looking at Benito and Wisniewski right now if it was last season, because those were really the only 2 important ones in the race. But things have changed this season. Everyone has got something to fight for.
And everyone in chat has something to fight for as well, because boom, there's more beta keys on your screen. Again, Epic Game Launcher, get over there, type them in as quick as you can, take a screenshot, don't just pick the top one, pick a random one, pick like 4, and then just bam, try and type that one in. See if you can get in there as quick as possible, download Wrenchsport, and try and see how fast you are comparatively to our fantastic grid here in ESL R1. Enzo Benito got into sim racing from watching his dad play Gran Turismo. Oh, that's cute. Hopefully they went to go and watch Gran Turismo together. Did you know Enzo Benito went to the same school as Gianmarco Fiducci?
Yeah, that is definitely not true.
It's not true.
Gianmarco Fiducci managed to trick us into thinking it was, because he's a menace sometimes. But he did not. In fact, they grew up hours from each other.
Yeah.
Many, in fact, despite being from the same country. But anyway, they had us on that occasion back in Riyadh, if you remember. He's still 6th place, though, at the moment. Enzo Benito still holding on here. Wisniewski seems to be waiting for now. Not really seen him challenge the Italian just yet.
No, certainly not. But again, the challenge will come. We're only 2 laps into this race, and the short racing format, it always builds to quite a crescendo. Sometimes it's over the line when it comes to its level of dramaticism, but that's not a word, but I'm making it up and I'm committing to it. But still, it's building up to it in this race. Josh Rogers has checked out, but here comes Wisniewski, Ewan.
Yeah, outside line for the Mercedes. Very big squeeze as well from Enzo Benito. They'll both brake as late as possible, side by side, as the pole tries to make his way around the outside through the first part, but he can't quite do it. Into Malmedy, still on the outside here, but he makes a little bit of contact. Benito slides, and Wisniewski might have the place. He's on the outside again now, though. In towards Bruxelles they go. It's so close once again. A big squeeze from Wisniewski as he returns the favour. He'll now have the inside for No Name. How much space is going to be given here? Not a lot, but Benito has just enough to hold it round the outside. He's not quite alongside, and now Johan Hart tries to get involved. He's on the inside in towards Pouon, looking for that 7th place, and he might just have it. Kaki Oliveira wants the position as well. Enzo Benito is going backwards.
Yeah, it's all falling apart. It's all got a little bit too messy in this grouping. They were fighting hard, but maybe too hard. Look down the inside from Ibrahim Khan as well as they come into Fania. That would have been very aggressive indeed. Kaki Oliveira completes the move, heads to the 8th position at the moment. Now one clear of Enzo Benito, who looks straight down the inside as they head to campus. Unable to commit to the move going through there. It's far too fast to a right-hander as they head on towards that, really the final stretch of the circuit. Coming up towards Blanchimont is a crazy fight down here. Wisniewski taking over that 6th position and has a queue of drivers behind. It means the top 5 basically are clear and free.
They are, and that will be music to their ears. It means that they can start fighting amongst themselves for points rather than worrying about being in the final. These guys, though, are going to be very worried about making it to the final because right now the odds are not looking good. Johan Hart is trying to challenge Nikodem Wisniewski for that 6th position now, but he's not quite close enough for the moment. In that new Mercedes, of course, that Apex Racing team are taking on here this season. Still plenty of Audis out there, of course, with Miles and RHG running very well with the Audi. Oh no, Johan Hart breaks too late in towards Lassour, spins around. That's a grave error from him. He drops to 12th. That'll be no points. He slaps his steering wheel in frustration. A rare mistake from the Frenchman.
Yeah, and of course, one driver that will definitely know about that will be Kevin Ellis Jr., actually. He's obviously racing from the same place. Yeah, that was highly dramatic and just a little bit too over the line. It means that Kaki Oliveira is now feeling the pressure from Enzo Benito. At 1.1 seconds down the road is Nikodem Wisniewski. Ibrahim Khan following up the slipstream of the Italian, who's now moved to the inside, straight over the curb. They go through Lecom, up through the curb on the second part, into Malmedy now, straight around the outside. It's going to be a position held from Kaki Oliveira, but Ewan, this is going to confirm the top 6, surely.
Yeah, think so. Nikodem Wisniewski has a 2.5 seconds now over Kaki Oliveira, and I think he will be finishing 6th as well because he's kind of in his own island there, isn't he? The top 5 are too far away. The bottom 5 are a long way behind him at the moment as well. So, yeah, I think he's looking good there. Wisniewski should be fine to finish in 6th. But what about this fight for 7th? There's still points on the line, and this is exactly what we were talking about earlier on. I mean, in last season, of course, these guys would have something to fight for in the bottom 6 here in the semi-final because there were points on the line if they knew they were going to be knocked out. But we're going to see a battle for the top 5 as well. What challenge is Josh Rogers going to have in the final 3 laps?
Yeah, certainly so. I get the feeling, you know, like I say, if Sebastian Jobe has the tyres to go on the attack, he'll certainly go for it. Here's another look at this, just complete late braking, overdoing it into the rear end of the Williams. It's easily done. You've got to remember, at that point, the rear of the car is so unloaded. As you're on the brakes, all of the weight has moved to the front of the car. Once you make contact with something, you know, another car, it just moves that weight even further off. Basically, your rear tyres have effectively left the ground. You're going to go for a spin.
Yeah, someone's accusing us of jinxing Johan Hart. I'm sorry, I'm taking no personal responsibility for that whatsoever. And Lewis Biglade still argues that it doesn't exist. I don't really have an opinion, if I'm honest with you. But yes, Johan Hart will be very frustrated indeed, and unfortunately won't be making his way through to the final coming up very soon, of course. Stay with us because the top 6 from semi-final 1 and the top 6 you can see on your screen right now will be moving through into that final, and they'll be putting on a great show for us. In the culmination of round 2 here in the ESL R1 full season. You speculated last week, Lewis, that the Monza final was one of the best ever. Let's see if we can top that here this week.
Yeah, Enzo Benito making a bit of a mess of that. Here comes Yuri Toman. He's going on Sebastian Job, not allowing Sebastian Job to go on the attack of Josh Rogers. I've got to say, having commentated on this, on the knockouts yesterday, I've said before, Yuri Toman's tyre conservation, in my opinion, is better than pretty much anyone else on the grid. So I'm going to stick to that. Also, it's the way, the confidence that he had. He went on the attack late on. It was very, very impressive. Anyone who remember back as well when we had the longer races in ESL R1 back in Katowice, the first 2 rounds that we had longer races. I think it was 9 laps at Spa, and Yuri Toman was coming on so strong late on the race. And everyone who might say it's the Audi R8, well, he was coming on strong against Maximilian Benneker. So, I mean, you can't tell me that's just the car. He was just, he timed his tyre management to perfection.
Yeah, great endurance driver. If we ran these races, 4 times as long, then Yuri Toman's stock value would go up, you would imagine, based on that. And he seems to be getting stronger as this race goes on as well. The BMW once again slipping away, although only G2 BMW seemingly, because Luke Bennett seems to be doing all right. Enzo Benito's holding his own in the group that he's in as well. So G2 struggling a little bit as well here. We'll see if he can hold on, but I think Yuri Toman's going to be through on Sebastian Job pretty soon. He's very close right now. And Thibaut Casabon only getting stronger as well, as RHG looks to get 4 cars in the final.
Yeah, like I say, Williams did it last week, and it looks like RHG might be able to do it this week. We hadn't seen it before, and now we might be seeing it as a fairly common piece as people start to figure out Rennsport bit by bit. They start to figure out the format in ESL R1 bit by bit. Could well be RHG's turn to move their way forward. I've got to say, you know me, I love myself Risto Capit. I really do. Risto's such a nice guy. He's such a great character. But RHG, Thibaut Casabon, I think he is the perfect piece for RHG in ESL R1. I don't think he's got quite the pace to really challenge like Marcel Chinchik for a win, for a championship, all that, but he's got enough speed that he's able to get himself into the mix. He's able to get himself up into those positions, and hey, maybe might well be a round winner at some point in the future. Here comes Yuri Toman. He might well be a round winner tonight. He gets down the inside of Sebastian Job.
And Casabon had a look at Luke Bennett there as well, who's currently in 4th place and does need to pick up points, by the way, because didn't score many at all in round 1 at Monza, of course. So Luke Bennett looking for those points right now, but they all are. Sebastian Job looking to hold on to 20, which is what you get for 2nd place, and Yuri Toman looking to add 4 more to the 16 that he's currently got in his hand for 3rd place. And it's Luke Bennett and Thibaut Casabon just behind. Nikodem Wisniewski probably too far away to get involved, and with probably too few laps to get involved here as well. Into Pouhon they go. Josh Rogers has nearly a 2nd. He looks to be on his way to his 18th win in ESL R1 history.
It's disgusting how good he is. Anyway, moving on. No, Josh Rogers again. He's one of the best drivers in sim racing, and I've gone through phases of being slightly critical of Joshua Rogers. Not so much in his pace driving, but it's more sometimes he just doesn't take part in as many competitions as everyone else, and so it's a harder gauge. I remember when I first was really keeping my eye on Joshua Rogers, was about 2018, 2019. He was taking part on multiple platforms. He was at the front of basically everything. And yes, whilst he doesn't take part in as many competitions these days, you cannot deny that he is still one of the absolute greatest in sim racing, if not arguably the fastest driver that we have in the world of sim racing. Wow, that's a mega send from Yuri Toman, straight down the inside of Sebastian Job, and Yuri Toman's going to take over 2nd. That was about as aggressive as I've ever seen a move from Yuri Toman.
And it could spell trouble for Sebastian Job, because behind him, Luke Bennett and Thibaut Casabon will be very hungry to go through as well. Will Toman be under pressure in towards Les Combes as well, though? That could be a potential problem for him. And of course, he won't want to pick up any penalties as a result of that dive. I think he was absolutely fine, but those kind of lunges can go very wrong very easily before you've even realised. So Toman took a bit of a gamble there, and it did pay off. He's in 2nd now, and with a good run over the top of the hill, he should be able to hold on, but there's a mega slipstream coming from behind. Sebastian Job tucking in behind the Audi. Tremendous straight line speed from the G2. He's BMW, there's contact. Goodness me, they both saved the car. And Luke Bennett goes around as well. Yuri Toman just put the brakes a little bit there and said, I need to make this final. I can't afford to lose it all, scrapping for 2nd place.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it was. He had that contact with Sebastian Job that said, "I ain't risking this. Whoa, let's back out, let's have a safe one, All right, sorry. That was very sketchy indeed. Again, don't know whose fault that might be. Might be something for race control to take a look at, but that was very scary. Could have eliminated a couple of drivers from the running here and might well have opened up the door for those further down, those that don't have a chance at the moment. Kaiki Oliveira, they need help from someone else. They need some of that drama. That was absolutely crazy, Ewan.
That was, and this is exactly the point that we repeat time and time again. It's the effect of points being available and on the line right now, and what an effect it's having as well. Great racing between them. Yuri Toman, though, making sure he makes the final by just exercising a bit of caution there. We'll see what he can do, though, in a few moments' time when we skip forward to the final race of the evening. Josh Rogers, though, will be one to watch throughout it. He was fantastic in the opening knockout, was second only to Yuri Toman in the third knockout of last night, and he looks to be on his way to another win. What a success story he has been in ESL R1. Second place in the Drivers' Championship at Riyadh, part of the winning team, inside the top 5 at the Munich Major as well. What a time he's had in ESL R1. He's won the most races in history, and now he's going to add another. Josh Rogers takes semi-final number 2 here at Spa. A wry smile, almost as if he does it all the time, which of course he does. 1.8 seconds over the rest of the field. Josh Rogers wins again here at Spa.
He's too good, isn't he? He's just too good. Joshua Rogers taking another victory. Like you said, I hate using the word, but I will do for someone